I want you to think about this. Robert Hur, the independent counsel that investigated Joe Biden about his documents at his house from when he was vice president and when he was senator, what they was doing in his garage for the last 40 years. Who knows, or since he was vice president as well, said in his report, we've seen it. In short, I'm paraphrasing that Joe Biden is not mentally capable of standing trial. That's what the independent counsel said. And of course, the Justice Department won't release the audio tapes. We knew before. We certainly know now why they won't release the audio tapes, because we would hear more from Joe Biden of like what we heard in the debate last week. That's why we would hear mumbling, we would hear incoherent sentences, if you want to use that word, from Joe Biden. And this is why the DOJ will not release those tapes. Even though we have his words, which are scrambled enough, I think hearing the audio of it would be even worse, and they know that. But we saw it for last night. The final thing I want to say about this is what occurred to me, and not for the first time, but it really brought it home last week with the debate. And watching now one party scramble about what are they going to do with their candidate. And by the way, what are they going to do with their president? I say their in their party. He's the entire country's president. I understand that. But I'm talking from a political sense. It's their candidate, the DNC, the Democrat Party, the left-wing media, which is almost all the media. It's their candidate. What are they going to do? Well, I want you to think about this. Joe Biden, first of all, is not capable of lasting another 4 years. He may not be capable. I'm not wishing any ill will on him. He may not be capable of lasting another 4 months. We're all seeing this rapid decline in his cognitive abilities. But if the Biden administration had a capable, somewhat likable, non-controversial number two vice president, there would be a lot less pressure on the Biden administration. I take that back, on the Democrat machine, the Democrat Party machine, to replace him. And there are a number of ways to do that. They're all very messy, and they're all very, I think, contentious. But there are ways that they could probably do this. The problem is, who do you replace him with now? Because they don't have that likable and capable person. They have Kamala Harris. Why are they stuck with Kamala Harris? Because Joe Biden, when he was running for president 4 years ago, and a little before that, he said in no uncertain terms that he was going to pick as his vice presidential running mate a black female, or for sure he said a female of color. He, by definition, discriminated against the vast majority of other people in the Democrat Party that he could have chosen to be his running mate, whether they were male, female, white, Asian, Hispanic, any number of races. But he excluded them. He discriminated against them and said, I will not choose any group of people unless they happen to be a female of color. And this is what he left for himself, and he left for the Democrats to choose from now. This is a DEI, a diversity, equity, and inclusion trap that the Democrat Party has set for itself. And now they have to live with it. They have to live with this because they excluded any number of people, any number of capable people in the Democrat Party who could be the number two woman or man right now, waiting to step into the shoes of a president who is clearly faltering. They limited their choices to someone based on their sex and their skin color through their own discriminatory practices. This has come back to haunt them in the most significant way, ladies and gentlemen. So, just wanted to touch on that a little bit. There are a few thoughts I had about the debate. Obviously, we got to do a couple of shows on the debate all by itself. And I'm not going to do that. Certainly not going to do it today, maybe later on. But what I wanted to get into, again, it's not just because these things came to mind, but they also relate to what I wanted to talk about. And what that is about what the focus is of this administration, what the claims are of this current administration when it comes to law enforcement, and when it comes to specifically who is committing crime, who is or what group is a threat to internal American security.